Yo, what's up guys? Welcome back once again to the channel for another PSGL E-Series video. Back again now at Zandvoort this week. And yeah, this is round 3 I believe. Currently leading the championship as Williams Esports. But this time out, Alvaro is away. So it's going to be me and Will Lewis tackling this one. Not a favourite track of mine. But Will's been going very well here in practice, so hopefully we can pick up a nice result here without Alvaro nonetheless. But without further ado, we are getting ready here for our first run in Q1, making sure to keep a nice gap to the cars in front. It's super difficult to try and space yourself out around this track, but we've done it pretty nicely without letting our tyres get too cold. So we've got the DRS open here, heading down to turn 1, spotting just before the 50 metre board is our braking zone, getting a little bit deep, trying to get on the throttle as early as possible, but we get a big snap of oversteer, and yeah, we back straight out of that one. We were not happy with that, so we carry on.
Pretty tricky to let cars go on this track.
As I was saying there, it's really difficult to space yourself out, but we're going once again on the same set of tyres. We have the fuel to go again. Navigating past Alexander Craft, who goes provisional P1 of the session, doing that turn 1 much nicer here through this bank left-hander. Super satisfying when you get it right. It's probably one of my weaker corners on the game, I'll be honest. But yeah, a fun one nonetheless. Heading up here through to the end of sector 1. We go purple through the first sector, apparently. You never know whether it's accurate on the F1 game or not, but we'll take that, absolutely. Unfortunately missing the 100 metre board on the left hand side as someone took it out, so we just didn't really know, as we say there, we didn't really know where to brake. Didn't have our usual reference, so we're going to have to try and get used to that for the remainder of the session.
That board being missing, it's a shame.
Heading into the end of sector 2 here, we go purple once again according to the game. Try and get a good traction here and ignore the Mercedes on our right. Don't let it distract you heading into the last corner. Try and get the car rotated, and now it's flat out to the line. Hug the right hand side to minimise the distance, and hopefully this is good enough to get us through to the next part of qualifying, which it is.
Yeah, not great.
As we say there, not a great lap, but it will do nicely to get us through. A few cars went later than us in the session and improved, but we go through easily there in P4. Heading on to Q2 now. Put a banker down on the set of tyres. Was not happy with that one at all, but here we go now on a fresh set of tyres. Starting the lap here. Once again, braking at that 50 metre board. Try and get on the throttle without firing those rear wheels up, which we do semi-decently. We had a little bit of a slide, which was slightly suboptimal. Trying to get on the traction up here, which is really difficult out of that bank left. Even though it does sort of camber round, it is very easy to lose it at the last moment. Heading purple through that first sector once again, but washing out on the exit of that long right hander, which kind of put us off a little bit. We weren't expecting to pick up that bit of understeer, but we carry on nonetheless through these tricky long corners in the middle section that, you know, really try and entice you to try and get on the throttle early, but you have to be super patient. And into the end of sector 2 here, going purple once again, clobber this curb to try and open up this next part of the corner, and now we have one corner to go now, braking just after the 50 metre board, using that curb on the left, starting to take a little bit more risk now, keeping it tight to the right on the run to the line. Where we're going to slot in, it is going to be provisional P1 once again with a 10-0. Not a fantastic lap for Q2, and yeah, as we say there, it's probably not absolutely safe. We want to be heading into the 9s to sort of guarantee our safety into this Q3 session. So despite being P2, we are out once again, and so is Alexander Craft. No one on this grid feels safe with their first times here. So we're going to go once again and get that little bit of a snap that we were speaking about earlier out of turn 3. So it's not ideal heading to the end of the first sector. We are slightly down on our delta, and we could be in a little bit of danger in terms of heading through to the next part of qualifying here. So we're going to try our best to pick up some time, but clobbering over these curbs, losing a decent heap of time here. Currently half a tenth down, but gaining a little bit through that left, a bit of a squiggle, and heading to this to the end of this lap here. It's not looking good for this lap, but we get a decent cut, and now we have to try and focus on getting a good traction, which we do, picking up a couple of hundredths there, and now we have to absolutely send it through here if we're going to improve on our lap, getting a good traction now.
I'm pretty concerned right
As
now.
I say there, we're pretty concerned. The lap is not.
Might have just dug myself out of trouble with the last corner, but I'm not sure.
And we're going to just have to hope and pray now that this is enough. And it was only just, I think the whole of the top 10 did a 10-0, bar Alexander Kraft there, sleeking into the 9s. But yeah, it was a bit of a lucky one, let's say. But we're heading into Q3 now, and looking at the weather screen, we are going to get rain here at the start of Q3, and we're going to have to try and head out as soon as possible to try and get the best track conditions. This is going to be a do or die lap now.
No. Oh, it's raining already.
And as you said there, it was already raining in the pit lane. We are fifth on the road, sorry, behind the two Haas cars, Alfie Butcher in the Alfa Romeo and Konomura ahead of us in the Aston Martin. So we're just going to have to try and do our best. We have no idea what kind of grip the track is going to be offering us here, and as you can see, a little bit tentative, taking multiple stabs at the steering through the first couple of corners, not knowing what the track is going to offer us. Definitely was lacking a bit of grip, but it's still grippy enough to push on these soft compound tyres. But we definitely won't get another lap in after this on the dry compounds, with there being also rain predicted for the race. So that is bound to be interesting heading into that one. But now focusing on the rest of this lap, we're shaking our heads. We are not happy with how this lap is going. Heading into the last sector, showing up as purple on the map. But yeah, one corner to go now, and we're just going to hope and pray that, you know, having a good track position here in the middle of the field
Took it so safe.
is going to benefit us here.
Just had no idea how much grip there was going to be.
Having a little bit more grip than those behind us across the line here. We said a 10.5.
No, 7,000. Oh, mate.
We miss out on pole by, well, what did say 7,000. It's now 8,000 in the post quality screen, and we were gutted with that. It was a very easy pole position for us, but unfortunately couldn't quite pull it off today. But starting on the front row with Alfie Butcher, we're going to head into this dry start of the race, but it is expected to get a little bit cloudy and a little bit of rain coming later in the race. But we're heading now to 5 red lights. It's lights out very quickly, and away we go here, and we get a very good launch, and we're up alongside and ahead of Alfie Butcher here, heading into turn 1. And we have got the lead of the Dutch Grand Prix. But as you can see here, a little bit of contact between us and the Alfa Romeo man, and he sent it round the outside of us. He managed to tag our wheel back, prevented us from escaping.
Apparently he's driving a tank without much room he needed there.
As I say there, I felt as if I left him quite a bit of space, but it seemed that it wasn't enough, and he managed to tag us back and launch himself back into the lead. So we'll settle in behind for the time being, and just ahead of the Veloce man, Simon Shooter and Alexander Kraft. I think he's about to come together with Konomura as you see him disappear from the tower on the left. I saw that incident after the race. Connor just got squeezed a bit over the curb and auto spun out of the race. So a shame for him. Definitely one of his stronger tracks, and he's going to be struggling now for the rest of the race, trying to recover. But now back to us. We're at a half-second gap now to Alfie Butcher, trying to keep tabs with him as best we can. And Jeff, or Mark even, whatever the engineer's name is these days, is predicting rain to come very shortly. So we're going to have to try our best to get on terms of
rain anytime
Alfie
now.
Butcher to see if we can get ahead of him and try and get into the pits when we're switching to Inters ahead, because that can be very beneficial in these changeable conditions. So we're going to try and put him under pressure here onto the start of lap 4. We're going to force him to go a bit defensive and let him know we're there and that he can't be hanging around too much. As you can see now, Jet West up into P4 on those soft tyres, going for a super aggressive strategy, playing for that rain, because those soft tyres won't go very far at all into this race. So he's relying on this rain coming very, very soon. But now, as you can see, Simon Shooter closing right onto the back of us, trying to trying to hurry us on because I think he's under a lot of pressure now.
Starting to rain, I think.
From Jet West. And as we say there, we're starting to get the first spots of rain already on lap 4. A little bit earlier than I anticipated, but now we're climbing all over the back now of Alfie Butcher. As we know, this is an absolutely critical time in this race. So we're going to try and eye up a move here, try and get a good exit off this chicane, because our main overtaking zone is here coming up into turn 1 of this DRS zone, while DRS is still active, as Alfie Butcher makes a big mistake coming off the last corner, but it kind of blocks us in a way to not get a good slipstream. So we're going to deploy the DRS open, and it's a drag race to the first corner here. Who's going to blink first? And we pull that off very nicely, diving to the apex, and we pull that off. We are now back into the lead of the Dutch Grand Prix here.
It's getting pretty slippery already.
As you say here.
Yeah, I'm in the box as well. I need to try something.
The track conditions are worsening rapidly. Jack West now is going to have an even bigger advantage on these soft tyres in these changeable conditions. That soft compound really going to help him here as he's hounding the back of Alfie Butcher behind us. But now we're just trying to stretch our legs out in front and respond to what the track is kind of feeding us back through the wheel.
How does it feel in Shanaka?
As I say, the track is getting seriously slippery.
We're going to have to bring both
very quickly here.
Potentially.
I struggled to think of a time where the track has got so slippery so quickly.
It's getting, yeah.
And as you can see,
yep.
the classic tell of when the track is ready. The DRS has been disabled, and it means it is now time for Inter's Jack West up into P2 now on those soft tyres. So that strategy has brought him, I think, from outside the top 10 into contention now in this race. So that is great for him.
Super
as some of the cars now avoiding double stacking are carrying on, but with how bad it's getting out there, our teammate Will Lewis has decided to double stack with us, which I think was the better call. Unfortunately, he was knocked out in Q2.
Sorry, Will.
So he's having to
it's fine. I
do
didn't
his
get
best to
held that
recover
much.
in this race. So hopefully he can do that, especially against those cars
I would have rather done that than go
have
again.
carried on and gain those few places back. But as you can see now, we join here a lap later, and look how crazily wet the track has got in such a short period of time. And we have a 1.7 gap ahead of Alfie Butcher, which now, a couple of laps later, is a 2.6 gap to Jack West. So we are starting to stretch our legs out in front. We weren't very happy with the balance of the car in the wet.
Jack West much faster.
Okay.
As you can see here, Brett, our engineer and our F1 Esports coordinator, informing us Jack West's pace is much better than what Alfie Butcher's was behind us. So we're going to try and respond to him, and we are slowly but surely
How are you feeling there, Will?
edging that gap out to him. As we hear there, we have the rain the track conditions deteriorating, the rain increasing.
I think I'm going to go
And
for it.
as we hear here,
Is that for full wets just then?
our teammate Will Lewis is going to take the gamble and jump onto those full wet tyres here on lap 14.
It's a lot of points going to be given up.
And the track isn't...
Yeah, but it's meant to be full wet for the rest of the race anyway, so they're going to have to pit onto him at some point.
As we hear there, as our teammate
Not bumming
dives
about
into the
back here,
pits.
If it works out, then with
he's been stuck in the midfield. It's a super difficult track to overtake, especially with the DRS disabled, sorry, and us being on the intermediate tyres. It's super difficult to make moves.
yeah, it's not
And
time.
as we skip on a lap later,
It's not.
we get the information through that the track is not ready. We could kind of already see it from the state of the track. It is
They're not that much slower.
It's getting a
but
little bit slippery on the
It's not yet.
intermediates, but it's not quite time for those wet tyres as we continue to build that gap now up to 5.1 seconds over the second place man, Jack West.
These conditions don't look like they're shifting. We're predicting at least 20 minutes of heavy rainfall.
And now our engineer informs us that we are well and truly now
Yeah, it looks like this is the
in
worst it's gonna,
into the
gonna
full
get
wet,
for the race.
or not full wet, full heavy rain conditions. And we were thinking it's not really getting much worse on the pace. So we're going to stay out on the inters, just play it by ear. Obviously respond to those behind us, pitting for the next set of inters, because I don't believe these tyres will go to the end. If they will, you will certainly be
Problem is, if you
in
put using for a new set
puncture
tyres,
territory,
you just come out in the train.
Yeah, we have
as
to
we
wait.
confirmed there with Brett. We just want to respond to what the rest of the field is doing.
If you got a big
We have
gap
6.5
ahead.
seconds in our pockets to Jack West, so
Not sure that's likely.
we do have the luxury of being able to respond to what others are doing. We're now skipping on to lap 25. You can see we're having a little
I
bit
don't know
of
if it's
a
just me or the tyres going
skate
off
through
a
the
little
last sector.
bit. It feels quite slippy at the moment. Rain might be a bit heavier.
The rain
not sure.
is
I think it's kind
starting
of
to
on the cost.
intensify here.
Harvey's gaining
Our
and
pace
losing.
is dropping as we hear that Harvey Cowan has pitted onto the full wet
This
tyres.
is a crucial point.
It's
Let's stay on
definitely
that.
a strong point
Hassan.
for him,
Let me know what tyres he goes to.
and we are just trying to monitor what the pace is for those guys at the moment. But it is getting seriously treacherous out here. Gap now at 7.2, and we still have to be very alert to what's going on in terms of strategy, because we cannot throw this race away.
Wet. Wet.
Pace is dropping off.
Right, let's Pep.
As we hear there, we agree with our engineer to come into the box. We believe it's time for wet tyres, but as you can see down in the bottom left,
Jack
Jack
staying
West
out.
will be staying out on those intermediate tyres, as will a few others.
I don't know. I've caught Harvey this lap.
And as we hear there, our teammate who is currently on the intermediate tyres is catching the likes of Harvey
Everyone's
Cowan
betting, though. It's-
on the wets.
Yeah, I know.
Jack
But,
will have to pit. That's the thing.
unless he gets some mega RNG.
Yeah, I'm catching Harvey so much. I think they're overheating.
As we hear there,
Oh, brilliant.
we may have just
Oh, brilliant.
picked the wrong strategy
It's
here.
fine. Everyone's in the same boat.
Heading into the end of
Well,
the
not
race, we
everyone.
are currently
There's 5 cars
P6
ahead of me on Inters.
on the wet tyres, but we may be in danger of overheating and
I think we might have just thrown this away.
potential pace issues as we're struggling to catch
I really
the back
do.
of these guys on their old intermediate
Right, well,
tyres.
F1 Ferrari has
Uh,
a 5-second
About 20 laps old here. We've
Right,
only
no, we're
gained about a
finished.
second on Leroy Brown here from the SRT team. Yeah, it's looking a bit difficult, but as you can see here off the banking corner, we get a good slipstream. ERS deployed, and we are through for now for P4. So we are now hunting down the top 3 for the end of the Grand Prix. Skipping on a lap later, we are onto the back of Xander Van Dyken in the second R8G car. He's trying to stay out, as well as the couple of cars around us, to try and go to the end on his intermediate tyres. So we're going to try and make hay while the sun shines, try and put him under pressure through this bank right, but he doesn't buy it. So we're going to have to try and look for a move elsewhere. We're really in a bit of a hurry here to try and get this move done, and we do so through that right-hander here into the middle sector. We go to the middle of the track for the following left, just to cover off any sort of response you may have had to that. And with just 5 laps to go, we have a couple of second gap to close down
Tyres are going off, I think.
to Harlem.
Okay, the car behind is dropping
But now,
back,
as we'll hear here,
starting to fall.
I think wets are better now.
we believe that the wets are now
Yeah, they are.
well and truly coming
little
into
bit.
their own. Obviously, the inters are going to be very, very worn at this stage, and the track is getting significantly wetter. The rain has intensified a little bit more than we were expecting, and now it is in our hands with 5 laps to go to try and make these moves and take back our position at the front of the field. But we just have to be a little bit cautious. Obviously, we have the likes of F1 Ferrari ahead of us, who has a 5-second penalty, so we don't want to take any risk with him. So it is basically us versus Harlem for now for the win, because we have a big gap ahead of the other wet runners who are currently stuck in the midfield trying to negotiate this traffic on the intermediates. It's all getting a bit messy with the alternate strategies here heading into the last few laps of the race.
Radar suggests that this heavy rain will be with us for a while now.
So we're going to take this nice and patiently, try and take a bit of an alternate line, leave ourselves a little bit of a gap, because we know we're going to have the better traction off this bank corner, pick up the slipstream, and now we're going to deploy our battery here down into turn 1. Is he going to defend? No, F1 Ferrari is not going to defend here. He knows that he's not going to have any chance in terms of grip to defend that position, and there's no point as he has a penalty. So now we just have 1 car to go before we complete this comeback drive into the lead of the race, and we have just so much superior grip. Bit of a risky move here, as we have a flat out zone, but it's all twisty, so it's going to get a little bit tight up this hill. Can we pull it off into the lead? Yes, we can. Later onto the brakes with that superior grip, and the comeback is complete. And on lap 32 of 36, we take the lead back, and heading on to lap 34 now. As you can see at the top left, Alfie Butcher enters P5 on those wet tyres. A couple of laps less, and we would have been making serious gains on our championship rivals. But for now, we will take what we can get. We have an 11.5 second lead over the rest of the field. We have dominated here in Zandvoort for the Dutch Grand Prix. And we win.
Let's go.
Way ahead of the field. And that was a great feeling.
Definitely.
Great feeling to be
Thank
back
you so much, guys.
at the top.
Appreciate that.
Something I've very much missed on this game. It's definitely not been one that's clicked with me. But the wet weather came in clutch for us today.
We got P1 for you in the end.
Despite our teammate struggles with the strategy over this race, we pick up some points. As you can see here from the updated spreadsheet. Unfortunately, our teammate didn't have a great time with things. He tried to pull off the risky strategy, didn't quite come through, but good damage limitation from ourselves, obviously winning the race. And Williams will take home 37 points here. But as you can see, Parnell coming away with the overall most points from that race. So they do close their gap to us and take P2 in the championship for the time being. But yeah, overall pretty good race for us. Cannot complain one bit. Obviously unlucky for Will. He had an incredible pace in the lead up to this race. I'm sure he'll get another opportunity to show what he's made of in the near future. But yeah, as for this weekend's racing, that is all from us. Obviously we maintained the championship lead. I can't quite see on the screen. I think it's just under 40 points, I believe. So still a decent little buffer ahead of the rest of the field. So we can't complain too much about that. But yeah, that's been all for the Dutch Grand Prix here at Zandvoort. I hope you guys very much enjoyed. Next time out we will be at China, I believe. So look out for that video coming on the channel. One of Alvaro's best tracks. He'll be back in the car alongside us. So hopefully that can be another lucrative race for us in terms of results. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.